Yeah, I mean, here we are at Sports Talk with Gary. I'm Nick, and thankfully Gary's here today. Yeah, is that what you want to hear about, Gary? You want to hear about my fun day in Philadelphia, including Citizens Bank Park?
Yeah, Nick, I love going to live sporting events. I absolutely love it. I always say when I go to Eagles games or I go to Philadelphia sports events, Sixers, Phillies, it's like going to Disney World. Especially when you go to an Eagles game, it's like going to Disney World. So yeah, tell me about your experience at Citizens Bank.
I'm glad you put it that way. I'm glad you put it in the realm of like a theme park because at my size, right, I'm 6'2", 250, right? Both are close enough. Uh, I now find myself in this weird position where if I'm gonna go to a sporting event, I have to pay extra to get something special. We did not do this time. So we went to the Phillies game on Saturday. It was the only day this week that wasn't nice and warm. It was
Right.
41 degrees in the sun at the highest. We were not sitting in the sun. We were sitting in the shade. So we we spent all day. So a friend of ours came up from Texas. He's a Rangers fan because he's from
Yes.
Texas, right? Um, so he had a couple things. He wanted to go to a ball game, Rangers against the Phillies, and then he wanted to get an authentic Philly cheesesteak. Now there are, uh, I don't understand why people argue about the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia. I really don't, because everybody likes what they like. So we really like cheesesteaks from John's Roast Pork. That
Okay.
is our go-to spot. I'm not gonna not eat a cheesesteak at a different place because it's not that spot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna get totally crazy about no, you don't go there. Go here. No, I don't do that. There's a lot of good cheesesteaks out there. I
Yep.
prefer John's Roast Pork not only because they have a really good cheesesteak, but it's not even a cheesesteak place. It's a roast pork sandwich place that makes a really good cheesesteak. So
Right.
I we got it. We got a cheesesteak, and then I got a roast pork sandwiches, but the sandwiches are not small. So we eat, and we're like, oh man, we're stuffed. Great. The problem is we also went to Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia, which is,
Mhm.
if you don't know what it is, it's basically like a warehouse, and there's
Yeah.
just hundreds of little vendors all in a
Yep.
row, all the way around, up aisles, down. Like you could go there a
Yep.
hundred times and not know everything that's there.
Yeah,
And
no, I did. In fact, Nick, I went there the day they played the Niners in the NFC title game when we beat the Niners to go to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I went to that game, but before I went to the game, I had lunch at Reading Terminal Market.
what'd you get at the market?
Uh,
You don't
what did I
remember?
get?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think I got maybe I think I got like a pasta dish maybe.
Okay. So we walked around the whole thing, and knowing we were gonna go for a cheesesteak, we did Reading Terminal first.
Yep.
Knowing we were gonna get cheesesteak, we kinda walked around to see what was there, and then my buddy from Texas was like, "Is that a Cajun stand over there?" And I said,
Yeah.
"It certainly looks like it." Well, we went over and sure was gumbo and jambalaya, and that's where we ate there. We found a
Yep.
couple of benches at a
Yeah.
nearby spot. Like there's you find a place to sit if you can. So we
Yes.
did. We found a place. We all got something to eat. But like we were like, whoa, we're gonna get a cheesesteak soon. So let's just everybody stay calm
Yep.
at Reading
Yep.
Terminal, except Cullen. Of course, Cullen
Yep.
ate like a half a shrimp po' boy sandwich and
Yeah.
a bowl of jambalaya over rice. Like, oh, I mean, eating everything.
He's a grown boy, Nick. He's a
That's
grown boy.
that's right. Premier athlete growing boy. So
Yes.
we left there and then we did some walking around Philadelphia. We took them to Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell,
Yep.
walked them past Betsy Ross's house, and we did a fair amount of walking, and then we from Independence Mall we shot an Uber right over to John's Roast Pork. That's where we then ate cheesesteaks and a little bit of pork sandwich. And at this point, we now have eaten twice in like 2.5 hours. So by the time the cheesesteak went in, we were like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, like we need a
Got
nap or a
Yeah.
jog or something.
Yes.
But
Gotta pace yourself. Gotta pace yourself.
I'm telling you. So from there, we went over to the stadiums. We Ubered over to the stadiums. My cousin Thomas, the weirdo, was down there. He's the same guy that canceled on my parents for the Cheesesteak Factory. And he lives in Philly, so he was happened to go to the game. So we walked. He was over kind of past the link, doing a tailgate. We walked over there. We had
Okay.
a beer with him. Cullen then eats a hot dog. I don't know where he's putting it, but this kid does not stop. So, we have a drink, we putz around for a minute, and then we walk over to the stadium. Before we even go in the stadium, Kelly's buying a Phillies blanket because it's
Okay.
so incredibly cold. Like, we're
Yeah.
not wearing light clothes. Like, I'm wearing jeans, I'm wearing
Yep.
2 shirts, a hoodie, a hat. Like,
Yes.
we're kinda good to go. My buddies
Yes.
now, I'm a big guy. My buddy Phil is a giant. He's gotta be 6'7",
Okay.
every bit of 300 pounds. He is a giant man, and
Okay.
he's walking into the stadium in all his Rangers gear with a big
Yeah.
cowboy hat on,
Oh,
and, like, some people are kinda like, "Oh, hey, oh, Rangers? Oh, no," like, it's the nicest hazing I've ever seen
yes.
of somebody in the opposing team's colors. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I've
Yeah.
because of his size, people were like, "Oh, oh, well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fun game today, sir." So
Yeah.
he just like
Yeah.
he was like, "I don't understand. Like, all I hear is, Philly fans are so mean. They're all nice. They're nice to me." I'm like, "Phil, you're huge. You're a giant.
Yeah.
His hands are this
Nick,
big."
6'7", Nick, 6'7", 300 pounds. I mean, I that sounds good to me coming off the edge for the Vic Fangio
Well,
defense.
he played
Get after the quarterback.
he played tight end for TCU.
Okay.
So he's not a small guy. He's not averse to talking football too. But we were there for the baseball game. We sit down. I mean, it was tight. Not
Yeah.
only so I have Cullen, Kelly, me, and then my buddy Phil is right next to me, which we
Yeah.
probably should have thought better of. Then
Right.
2 other big humans sit down next to him. And we were like, "Oh my God." I'm sitting here like a sardine because I
Yeah.
don't want to be like elbowing Kelly, like, give me more space. But also, my buddy's here, like, oh God, like it was a man and a woman sitting next to him. The dude's on the end, and his wife or girlfriend, whatever, also a big lady, um, is like, she's also like a sausage, just stuffed in there. It
Yeah.
now, the seat next to Cullen remained empty by the time we got to the national anthem. And we were like, you know what? Perfect. Cool. But we're all moving down a seat. So we all
Yeah.
moved down the seat. So it was a little bit better there. Now, while it didn't warm up, the game itself turned out pretty great. Like the Phils went down 3-0 early on, and the bats were just dead. Like it
Yeah.
was like a brutal, brutal game. And you get to the bottom
Yeah.
of the ninth, and who comes up but Otto Kemp to light the world on fire? I mean, when I tell you this place went bananas for Otto Kemp,
Not
it was
Jeff Kemp, former Eagles quarterback, not Jeff Kemp.
no, Otto Kemp, uh, to the point where now the whole game, there was a couple of drunk guys sitting right in front of us, and they were getting a little like they noticed the guy in the Rangers gear back here, and there were some Mets fans there for some reason trolling. And so they're starting to get drunk and they're starting to get a little punchy with their words.
Sure.
And so they'll kind of like throw their head back and say something about one of the Rangers coming up to bat or their pitcher or Rangers fans. By the time we all stand up, now we're standing, and my buddy's 6'7", 300 pounds. They go to boo whoever's coming up to bat and like, "Boo, you suck!" And they turn around to like smirk at my buddy. And when they turn around and look way up, they go, "Oh, but I hear he's a really nice guy. Like he's stand up
Yeah.
gentleman, this guy." Yeah. And my buddy's like,
Right.
"You can razz me." He's all right, you can boo him. We're in your house, buddy. Like my
Yeah.
my friend Phil is just so affable. He's like, "Look, I know where I'm going. I know I deserve this. Like if they were in Texas,
Yep.
I'd be giving it to them the same way." But
Yep.
so the end of the game was so exciting. Now that they still
Yes.
lost, but
Yep.
to give you that little spark as like, I mean, the
Yeah.
stadium, I think maybe a quarter of the people were still there. And
Yeah.
and it wasn't a full house to start with because it was so cold that day that I
Right.
mean, the people that were there made it sound like it was a packed house.
Yes.
So really, really fun. Then we came back here, make barbecue on Sunday, and we watched the Phillies lose again.
Mhm.
So that wasn't fun. And then I told my friend he had to go home. He had to leave because I can't handle all this losing. I made him stay
Sounds
up and
like
watch
the
the Flyers win, and he was like, "All right, I
Yep.
guess I'll go back to Texas." Mm.
Yeah.
But the Phillies, it's a really fun atmosphere. That stadium is
Oh,
still really
beautiful stadium.
nice. It's a really nice
Yeah.
stadium. It's really
Yep.
laid out well to where, like, even when you're walking in the throng of people that are in there, thousands
Mhm.
upon thousands of people in the same place, even when you're walking somewhere, it doesn't feel like I'm getting jostled around. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
I'm like shuffling around the room. It feels like I'm just walking. Like they made it
Yeah.
big enough for people to kind of move freely within it. So that part was pretty cool. Everything still costs $1 billion, which I'm not a big fan
Yep.
of. Not that I could get like a couple beers because I don't want a cold beer because my feet are frozen. Like I cannot feel my feet. So I'm not drinking
Yep.
beer right now. It's just not gonna happen. So
But it is. The prices are what they are.
yeah, I know. It's too
Yeah.
bad we don't live in
Yeah.
Atlanta. Team sucks, but uh, we could still get a cheap hot dog at a stadium in Atlanta. But
Yeah.
what
No,
I mean,
that stadium, it's a great I've been there a couple times, obviously. It's a great stadium. It's a great place to go see a ball game.
yeah, I think my problem now is that I don't want to be smushed in between a bunch of other people. So
Yeah.
I think I need like I'll have to be like a club box guy. Like I'll just have to
Right.
decline until a club box comes along and I want to jump at
Right.
that. Like I just can't do it, man. I can't. It's too much for me.
Yeah.
It's just getting up to let people pass. And I don't know, like I'm just such a curmudgeon with that anymore. Like I don't want all that. I don't want all these friends. Put me in a box
Yeah.
alone with the people I came with. Let us enjoy the game. I I want to be a part of the overall atmosphere, but I don't want to be a part of the conversation of the two weirdos in front of me.
Yeah, I always, I know Nick, and I know you by nature too. You always like to watch a game on TV, and I'm glad, despite the loss, you had a good experience. I love going to a game. Uh, I know it's pricey. Not that I go to do a ton of them, but I always try to get to a game every year. I just love the whole experience. The best story I got for you, Nick, is back in I've been to a couple games, but 2008. I went to an Eagles Falcons game, 1 o'clock at the Link in 2008. It was actually, it was Matt Ryan's rookie year, I believe, with the Falcons.
Oh yeah.
Deshaun Jackson was also a rookie, and it was a game, Nick, where the Eagles were struggling, but they were trying to put a little win streak together, and they absolutely needed that game against the Falcons. So I went to that game at 1 o'clock with a buddy of mine, and then a college roommate actually had tickets for that night for Game 4 of the World Series, Phillies and Tampa Bay Rays. So I went to the 1 o'clock Eagles game, crossed the street, and went to Game 4 of the World Series that
Oh
night.
my god.
Joe Blanton pitches
Mhm.
a gem,
Yes, he
and
did.
the Phillies won big, and the Eagles won big over the Falcons, and the Eagles would go on to play the Cardinals in the NFC title game. So, it was just a great day. Great memory to go to the Eagles at 1 o'clock and then to go to Game 4 of the World Series to cross that one off the bucket list. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of great games over the years, and then I've seen a couple stinkers. I've seen Eagles Cowboys where the Cowboys come into Philly and they Jason Witten. I was at that game. Jason Witten loses his helmet and the Cowboys win big, right? So like,
Right.
um, yeah, I do. I love going to a game when I can for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I really love having a bunch of people to my house for a game. A bunch of
Yep.
like my people that want to come to watch the game, not people that want to come over and then like
Yeah.
play dress up or do each other's makeup or
Yeah.
like none of that. And not even
Yep.
people that are like, let's drink, let's do shots. I said, maybe like I'll do some shots during an Eagles game. Don't get me wrong, but I want to watch the game. I don't want to hear about your life. I don't want to know what's happening with you. Not yet.
Yeah.
If the Eagles
Yeah.
win, we can hang out longer and talk about it. But if they lose, you have
Yeah.
to go home.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to watch a game with, to be honest. I wanna either watch it by myself with my wife. Like, I don't need a crowd. I don't need friends to watch at least an Eagles game.
Yeah.
I don't want friends to watch the game with
But
unless it's like my wife or my son.
we've gotten there. Ever since 2017, we watched the Eagles Falcons playoff game alone.
Yeah.
And then people were asking me like, "Well, what are you doing for the NFC Championship game?" And I was like, "Shut up. That's what I'm doing. You stay away."
Yeah.
Nope. We
I
have our
can't I
thing
mean,
now.
we've been invited to so many Super Bowl parties involving the Eagles, and I'm like, I don't wanna go. No, I need to watch it by myself or, like I said, with my wife, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's so crazy because like I would love, I think, like I mean, if we're talking Super Bowl parties and memories and stuff like that, like I
Yeah.
Like, I would love to be in a room of Eagles fans for a Super Bowl win. The problem is
Yeah,
I desperately don't wanna be in a room of people in a Super Bowl loss. Like,
yeah,
I
I agree.
don't want that. So, like,
Yep,
I feel like I can have like, when the Eagles won Super Bowl 52, I was
yep,
just here with Kelly and the boys, that's it. Nobody was allowed
yep,
over because that was how we got here, right? We're a little stitious. So,
yeah,
um, like, I remember it taking me, like, 5 or 6 seconds to realize that the game was over. Like, all of us were kinda, like,
yeah,
stunned.
yeah.
So, once I realized the game is over, I start getting FaceTime calls from people that invited me to their Super Bowl party, and I can still celebrate with you, but I'm so glad I was where I was because if I wasn't, you never know what not that where I am affects the outcome of the game, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my wife has said when she watches me watch an Eagles game, I'm an absolute show. I'm just funny. Like when Cooper DeJean had that pick six against the Chiefs in that Super Bowl, Nick. Just I mean, I just lost it. I went crazy. My son starts laughing hysterically. I think the dog jumped up in the air. I scared him. I mean, like it was unbelievable. And even in that Super Bowl, Nick, I mean, we're in the fourth quarter. The Eagles are up big, and I'm still like thinking, "Oh man, they got Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna make a comeback. They're gonna make it." Like it was too good to be true,
I didn't
and
have
it
that
was.
feeling during that game. Man, when they got through that first half, I was like,
Mhm.
that's it. Put a fork in them. They're
Yeah,
done. I was like, not only are they
yeah,
done this game, this franchise is done.
yep,
Like this
yeah,
team, as it's made up right now, toast. And I was
yeah.
right. I mean, last year, I mean, what they do last year? Nothing. They didn't make the playoffs. And now
I
that I
and then
mean,
I remember. Yeah, and then I was at Nick, I was at the Eagles game when they beat the Vikings in the NFC title game with Nick
yeah.
Foles,
Oh,
and, I was with my nephew, and we were at the game, and I still remember the Eagles are up big, and I am a superstitious fan, so I'm the kind of fan, Nick, it's never over till it's over, right? And, before the fourth quarter even starts, he says to me, "The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl," and the fourth quarter didn't even start yet. You know, it was just
right.
it was unbelievable. I was right there for the Patrick Robinson interception,
Yeah.
probably the loudest I've ever heard a stadium.
Oh,
It was just unbelievable.
man. Yeah.
So let's go ahead.
But as much as I love this team, like I feel like I
Yes.
love like Cooper DeJean and Quinion and AJ Brown and this
Yeah.
O line. Like as much as I love this team, that first one was but not only was the game better, 52 versus 59, not only was the
Yeah.
game better because it was a more competitive game.
Yeah.
I think the level of opponent you were playing was kind of similar because you're paying, you know, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, 2 of your top 10 quarterbacks probably of all time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
And the
definitely Brady.
And the fact that they beat Brady and Belichick, right? They
Yeah,
beat Brady and the hoodie, right? And you know what? For the fans that watch our podcast or that could comment on our podcast, feel free to comment which Super Bowl meant more to you. What Super Bowl of the two were you more impressed with overall, right?
yeah,
Because on one end, Nick, yeah, like you never that first Super Bowl win, you'll never forget it. It was amazing that you finally get the monkey off their back and they get
right?
that Super Bowl. On the flip side, though, with their that second Super Bowl win over the Chiefs, I mean, they dominated the Chiefs from beginning to end. When I believe the Chiefs were going for a three-peat. So I'm kind of curious, like with the fans here watching with Kyle and hopefully many others.
Oh,
Feel free to let us know.
well,
Feel
listen,
free to let us know.
about Kyle, Gar. He
Yes.
he calls me the other day. Now he's trying to get like a brother's night out with
Okay.
we our brother Mike moved out, um, a little bit further away than he used to live, and, so basically they all live an hour away from me in,
Yeah.
like almost like you're looking at the sky and the Orion Belt is right there. It's like they're like boom, 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 an hour away. And then, you know, Kyle's an hour away from me and this one. So it's a whole weird dynamic, and we just don't get together as often as we'd like. Um, Kyle calls me about that, and he goes, "And another thing, I hate Gary again." I'm like,
Yep.
"Wait a minute, what happened?" He's like, "When I told you I missed Gary, I didn't think you'd make such a big deal of it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Well,
Okay.
I make a big deal out of everything, Kyle. I'm trying to it's for the
Yeah.
it's called showmanship. That's what it is. Like, I can't just say, 'Oh, Kyle missed you a little bit, Gary. There you go,' and move on." No, I had to make it a thing. But then he was like, "Yeah, no, I hate Gary again. I don't wanna talk about Gary anymore."
All
So
right. Well,
so you had a
I
really
gotta
big
have,
you had a fan in Kyle for about a
yeah.
minute, and then as soon as you
Yep.
came back, he was and I talked about it, he got very upset with me.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
He might comment though because he absolutely, has opinions about what we're talking about here. So
and we welcome those opinions, and I'm gonna quote Jalen Hurts and say keep the main thing, right?
right.
And the main thing is the podcast, and
Yes.
hopefully we get more get more fans with Kyle and many others.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, let us know. Like I said, both Super Bowls were memorable. I like them both for for different reasons. Obviously, Nick, I think you said it right. We never thought we'd see an Eagles Super Bowl, and now we've seen two Eagles Super Bowl wins, and hopefully we see a third one. And that kind of leads us a little bit into the draft, Nick, because we need to add talent to this roster.
Yeah, we do.
And I would just say this with the Eagles, at least with that first round pick, and I read different mock drafts, but I keep going back to again, when they drafted Sean Andrews, and they drafted him to be a tackle, and he started out as guard,
Mhm.
and he was a dominant guard. And to be honest with you, when they lost that Super Bowl to the Patriots, everybody remembers in '04, you lose T.O. or T.O.'s playing on one leg. But that season, they open up the season with the Giants at the Link. T.O. has 3 touchdown catches. They dominate the Giants. But in that first quarter, the Eagles dominated with Brian Westbrook on the ground. And
Yeah,
Brian Westbrook ran right behind Sean Andrews at guard.
all
Sean
day.
Andrews was a beast on that offensive line with Trey Thomas and John Runyon and Hank Fraley and I think Mayberry might have been on there too. Um, so he was a beast, and then he goes down with that injury in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And I could see right then and there before the injury, he was going to be a great player. And you wonder if maybe that Super Bowl would have been different, not only with a healthy T.O., but with a healthy Sean Andrews. And so he played guard. And as I look at this draft, Nick, again, we'll get more into it here, or give me your thoughts. But with this draft in the first round, I would love to see the Eagles maybe get a guy from Alabama, another guy from Alabama, the offensive lineman,
Uh,
Proctor,
yeah,
because
yep.
you can start him. To me, you can start him at guard. Maybe even he could, because we don't know what's going on with Dickerson. So you start him at guard, or he's competition for Tyler Steen, and then eventually he shifts out to tackle. But that kid, to me, the little that I've seen, and we're gonna try to get some draft people on here in the coming weeks, pre and post draft. Um, that kid to me looks really good and would look really good for the Eagles if they could get him in the first round. I just want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually have a couple options in the first round.
Okay.
I have 2, tackles that I think are probably on the Eagles' radar that would probably be there. So you could take
Okay.
Proctor, right? Proctor, um, but, the only reason I shy away from Proctor is I think he might start sneaking up on draft boards. I think
I
he might
agree with
start
that. I
sneaking up.
agree with that. Yeah,
So I think
absolutely.
a guy that'll be there is the tackle from Arizona State.
Okay.
I'm gonna butcher his name, Max Ihenacher
Yeah.
Ihenacher.
Yeah.
He
Yep. Yeah.
he is a monster and could
Okay.
stand right next to Lane Johnson for this
Yep.
season, and the day Lane Johnson goes down, you have Fred Johnson on staff to step in for
Yeah.
a couple of games, so you can have this kid just run a whole season at guard, and
Right.
and now I don't have to worry about Tyler Steen anymore. That's if
Right.
they go offensive tackle, but if Michael Williams from Georgia, the D tackle from Georgia, if he falls,
Okay.
he's they're gonna take him. They're gonna take him and see if they need to extend Jalen Carter.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
I
And he's a
I
D tackle. Okay.
yeah, he's
Do you think they would need to trade up for him?
they might. They might need to. But you've got these compensatory picks, and some teams will be willing to trade down a couple of spots because
Sure.
really, when you think about like if you trade from 19 to 23, the probability of you getting the same level of player is the same between those
Yeah.
kind of picks. Like there's certain brackets in picks where it kind of doesn't matter if you drop down, especially if there's not a guy you're in love with. Now, I don't know that
Yeah,
the Eagles are really in love with anybody in the first round. So if you told me that the Eagles would drop out of the first round entirely in order to
yeah,
gather a bunch of kind of third and fourth round guys, I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised. That wouldn't bother me at
Yeah,
all.
see, I will say this, Nick. I definitely see the Eagles taking a first round pick. And I say that because those first round picks, now you get that 5th year option. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
like, with if you're taking in the second round, the third round, basically your contract is 4 years. If you're a first round pick, your contract is 4 years, and the team has the option of picking up that 5th year. And I think that is huge. So I totally expect the Eagles to pick in the first round.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of will they stay the same or move up or move down. But I do think they're going to take a first round pick.
Okay. All right. So my second round pick, which is at what is that at 54, right? Is that the 54th pick?
About that, I don't have it written down here, but yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. I think it depends on what they do in round one. So
Okay.
there's a guard out of Kentucky, Jalen Farmer,
Okay.
who's one of the top rated guards in the draft. But obviously teams that kind of like backs you in a corner because he's not like a swing tackle. He can't play
Right.
all up and down the line. The guy is a guard.
He's a
That's it.
guard. He's a guard.
Um,
Yep.
so other than that, I I'm terrified of this idea. Um, but this Bernard kid from Alabama, wide receiver, round two,
I
where
like him.
I want them to take a safety, but I have a feeling they're going to go wide receiver in round two, because I think the Johnny Wilson experiment is kind of coming to a close, and
Yeah.
they want some young talent in there, and I think he's the type of guy that can be a little bit of more of a physical receiver across the middle, kind of what you get out of AJ Brown,
Yep.
and I think that's a prospect for them that I think they're pretty interested in, knowing that while AJ Brown is going to be here this year, I
Yep.
I next year is then another question mark. So, um, if it's another question mark and there's more discontent and there's more offers for AJ Brown next year when it's not such a giant cap hit to get rid of him, maybe you get rid of
Mhm.
him. So, I think they might take a wide receiver in the second round. They'll uh, if they take a tackle in the first round, I think they go for the wide receiver. If they go D line in the first round, I think then they'll take a guard, somebody to step in to stand next to Lane Johnson so that Fred Johnson can be a backup, just a bona fide backup,
Yep.
and not a guy that people are calling to play guard.
But there's 2 things to me, Nick, in the second round that I'm very interested in, and I think you hit it with the wide receiver, right? I also have them. I don't wanna say taking a wide receiver, but I find I'm very intrigued if this guy's on the board, what the Eagles might do here.
Oh no.
And, it's the wide receiver out of Louisville, Bell,
Yeah.
because he's a first round talent, but he got hurt. Um, I was actually listening to a podcast last week with, the great Brian Baldinger and Anthony Gargano, and they were talking about him, and, I mean, he's a great wide receiver, but he gets hurt, and I'm thinking, like, would they pull the trigger, number 1, on this guy? And I'd be okay with it. However, I had flashbacks, if you remember, the one year they drafted the corner out of Washington, right?
Sidney Jones. Yep.
Sidney Jones, where he was, again, when healthy, he was a top 15 can't miss prospect, and then he got hurt on his pro day and dropped to the second round, and the Eagles took him. And at that moment, it really did. Like, it made sense to me. And because he got a first round talent and you figured he'd come off that injury. Now, again, what we don't know was, defensive scheme and defensive coordinator, and could be a lot of things there. But he never, I think it's safe to say, Nick, with the Eagles, at least, he never panned out, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. Just
right. So, now again, that's corner, wide receiver. Again, if they took the kid from Louisville, I would get it. I'd be for it. But I also have those flashbacks to Sidney Jones, and it just didn't pan out.
now here's a wild one. So second round, I don't think it happens. If he falls to the third round, which I think he would have to
Mhm.
fall maybe 10 spots. What about Josiah Trotter? What if we get What if we get the pair of them,
I'd love to see it, right?
right?
It's funny because I watched that final four game between Duke and UConn. A great game. I went down to the buzzer, great shot. And Dan Hurley, the UConn coach, said, "Man, those Boozer boys from Duke, they're tough." And I thought about the Trotter boys if the Trotter boys come to Philadelphia,
Right?
and then you got Jeremiah watching them. They're the
Yeah.
original Axeman.
Right. So
Um,
I don't like.
so
I doubt they spend like they would never spend a second round pick. Like they're not doing it.
no,
But
no,
not on any linebacker. I don't care who it is. They're not doing it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm thinking that
So
guy
where do you
falls to us in the third round.
Where do you Nick, where have you read, like, where's he kinda fallen in those mock drafts? Have you seen what kinda round?
I've seen him anywhere from the early 50s to the late 50s.
Okay, so that's
So
what, like, 3rd, 4th round, or
that's going to be, yeah, right on the edge of.
Yeah,
No, it's going to
yeah,
be. So some people have him late second round. So
yeah,
if he falls to the third round, we pick fairly early in the third round. We're at 68.
yeah, yeah,
Especially if they really want the kid, and they might, to fill
yeah.
that hole. Like no Nakobe Dean, you want to fill the hole with an energetic
I
young
totally
player.
see it.
I
Totally see it.
could see him
Yeah,
putting, our third and a sixth and a seventh or something, whatever we have in compensatory picks, and just moving up and
yeah,
grabbing a guy up. And
yeah,
I would really like it. I think that's super exciting when you trade up for a guy.
yeah,
It always shows you like that. I have faith in this guy. We know this guy is going to be good. We have to have him. And I think it's good for the player. I think the player sees that and he's like, yo, they're giving up
yeah.
and what just for me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I like there is, really 2 things. So number 1, I heard about 2 weeks ago, I was watching a show on ESPN, and Field Yates, who's one of their draft guides with Mel Kiper, was talking about just Josiah,
Yeah.
and how Josiah is actually built more like, in his words, Jeremiah Trotter.
Mm,
Not Junior, but Jeremiah Trotter, right?
right.
And where Trot Jr. is more like a cover guy, an athlete in space, where Josiah is more of a thumper, okay?
Yeah.
And I could totally see it happen, and here's why. I do know this: the Eagles are very, very high on. We have people in the building who know these prospects, right? There's some kind of background, or for example, the Eagles love drafting guys out of Alabama. Well, they have guys in that NovaCare complex, or whatever, what it's been renamed now, but they have
The
guys
Jets.
in the training. Yes, they have guys in the training facility that have ties to Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So, like, they really believe in that kind of stuff. And what better way than, you got Trot Jr. Hey man, tell me about your brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's no doubt this guy's been at the link multiple times. So I totally see it happening. And now, will it happen? We'll see, but I could totally see it happening. And I still remember when they drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr., how excited that room was, and how excited Howie Roseman was,
Yeah.
and how emotional even Jeffrey Lurie. When they got on the phone with him when they drafted him, Jeffrey Lurie was emotional with him, and said, like, how, we've known you since he was a baby,
Yeah.
literally a
In
baby.
diapers. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all. And then from a team perspective, um, yeah, like, you're gonna need a linebacker. You get a little more depth there. I know they have Jihad Campbell, your first round pick, a linebacker, but he could rush the passer. Zach Bond, who's been outstanding, but you could use a little depth there.
Yep.
They drafted a linebacker last year out of Georgia, and Miles Smallwood, or but I'm butchering the name, but he's out of
Wendell
Georgia. They drafted him.
Smallwood.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, he was the running back, but the linebacker out of Georgia. But yeah, I could totally see Josiah. I could just it wouldn't
It would
shock
be
me at all.
incredible.
Yeah,
And honestly, I would
and
love to
go
see
ahead.
our third round pick. I'd love to see go to that. I think I think they really think Jalix Hunt is the guy. And that's why you don't have a Phillips. I think you have Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and depth. And I think later in the draft, they'll look at
Yeah.
guys like this Crawford, the kid out of Auburn who's fourth in pressures in the SEC.
Yep.
Like he's a
Yep.
special player, but I think they might try to package some things. I think you might see the Eagles give away most of their late round picks in order to grab up two or three guys in the third and fourth round to finish this thing out and then just be done. I know they like the tight end out of Baylor, this Michael Trigg. I know they like him. Um, if you can end up with a second, third round pick to get an edge rusher and Josiah Trotter, and then you go get your tight end at pick 98, or he might even be there later. You could trade down as one of the conditions of getting that extra third round pick. I think they can clean up. I think you could end up with 5 contributors right away.
And you know what, too, Nick? I don't think they're done in the trade market, and I'm not even talking AJ Brown trade. I'm not talking an AJ Brown trade. I do think they're going to make a trade yet too, before, and a pretty significant one. I think they're going to make a trade before September, and I'm not even talking AJ Brown.
All right.
I think
I
there's
get the
going to be a
feeling
big
you
trade.
have a person in mind. What are you
Well,
thinking?
I mean, they everybody keeps talking or linking them to this guy from Minnesota.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I'd really love to offload a 2027 draft pick for him.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want to see I don't want to see Nolan Smith go, so I don't want a player involved. I definitely want draft picks involved. Um,
yeah,
but I wonder
that's what
what
you
they'll
ex-
get. I wonder what he's going for right now. If they're this deep
Yeah,
in conversation, I don't know. I mean, are they
yeah,
looking? Is Minnesota looking for a backup quarterback? We are a quarterback factory. We've got some guys.
yeah,
So could they
yeah.
maybe take a quarterback and a fifth round pick and send that guy our way? I mean, Minnesota is in free fall right now. I have to imagine they realize they're not winning right now. And so is it better for them to pull in draft prospects and just kind of spend the minimum as far as salary cap and then just start rebuilding? I don't know. But I mean, every time I read about that team, it's worse and worse and worse.
Well, I mean, in terms of the quarterback position, they got Kyler Murray now. They got JJ McCarthy, who is a yeah.
Yeah, but it
They got
certainly
J
seems like they don't
they
like JJ McCarthy very much.
right? I mean, he's a first round pick. I don't think they're ready to give up on him, but it certainly sounds like that.
I mean, if you're
And,
gonna bring
and
in
then they got
Kyler Murray, are you bringing in Kyler Murray as a backup? Is that what you're doing? Or are you gonna have him
Kyler Murray's your starter in
right?
Minnesota. He's starting
So
week 1, and
so
then you got
JJ
Carson
McCarthy
Wentz.
has to take a seat.
Yeah,
I think if they're out on JJ McCarthy, they may trade him away for picks because some team will see the upside in him and think they can make it work. And then maybe
yeah, it
they'll
won't
want to
be the
bring in
Eagles, but you're right. It could be some
yeah, not
team.
the but like maybe then they need a Tanner McKee. Maybe they need like maybe they're looking for an Andy Dalton and it was just a good grab to turn it into a higher draft pick later. So
Yeah.
but if they'll take an Andy Dalton and a fourth and send a starting defensive end our way, fine by me.
Yeah, we'll see, and we'll see what Minnesota does, and maybe Minnesota's like, "Hey, check back with us on draft night," right? So, like, if we get the guy we want on the defense, then we'll talk again. But like, I just don't see. I don't. I think the Eagles are they're still going to make another trade. I will say this too, Nick. Man, is there any chance that you see them drafting a kicker?
Sure.
Because to Jake Elliott, he needs some competition.
I actually don't think they'll use a draft pick on a kicker. I think they'll bring guys in on the undrafted free agent market.
Yeah,
They always bring
yeah,
a ton of guys in undrafted. Um, I think you'll see maybe 2 different kickers come in there and really make it a competition. And Jake's either going to have to make or break.
yeah. I mean, I think back to when the Eagles, when the Eagles that Super Bowl run against they beat the Chiefs. I mean, he made some. He that season he wasn't really great that season, but in that playoff run, Nick, when they won the Super Bowl, he was awesome. I mean, he made a couple big kicks against the Rams in the snow. He was really good in that playoff run.
Yeah.
But then, like last year, man, like you see these kickers, they're going to like 50 plus, 60 plus.
With
I
the
don't even
new
trust him from anything from like 40 in,
40
45
plus.
in. I don't trust him.
You know what it is? And with the ball, right? They're allowed to use the same ball. The ball doesn't have to be a regulation as far as like inflation percent, you know what I mean? Like inflation number,
Yeah,
like it's a ball they get to use, they get to bring it, it's their ball all week, and they can kick
yeah,
with that ball. And that's why these kickers are kicking it farther and harder, is that they can putz around with the inflation on the ball and it won't really affect the game, right? Like, okay, let the
yeah,
kickers do it because it's a new wrinkle in the game. If they can kick a field goal from
yeah.
60 yards, they might do that. But is there anything to be said about Jake Elliott's part on this team and what this team was doing without him, right? Like, if he was better this year, do you win 2 more games? Do you win a playoff
Probably.
game if he's
I mean
playing well?
again, like, that playoff game I wanna forget, and it seems like years ago, but I'm pretty sure I mean, he missed an extra point or a kick in that game. I know he missed a big kick in that game they lost to the Chargers. I mean, I just
So here's my
I he
question. Here's my
you know
question. Did Was he the reason we lost? And my reaction is no. He's not the reason we lost. We lost like
Mhm.
this team was losing whether he made those kicks or not. So
Right.
does that knowledge and does the energy on the sideline does that affect a kicker like Jake Elliott to where he's like obviously he's trying, or he's not trying to miss kicks. No kick. That's the whole reason they're there. Right? He's not trying to miss them on purpose. But is he kind of going out there with a little less pressure, and maybe he needs that pressure? Like, you're
Yeah.
losing to the Giants, you're down by 2, you gotta kick a
Yep.
61-yard field goal to get out of this thing, and that's
Yeah.
what you do, and you make it, and your team goes to Super Bowl that year. Or is it like, "I guess yeah, all right, I'm up. Okay, here I go," and just kinda that low pressure, he might be a guy that needs more. He needs more expectation on him, and if you bring in young talent to then compete for that position, I bet you he's a monster this year. But they
And
have
we'll
to bring
see.
guys in. They have to make a serious look. So at that point, you might have to draft a guy maybe in like the 6th round.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. To
you
me,
take a
he
kicker,
wasn't
you
he
take a
wasn't good.
kicker over above 7th round, that's a starting kicker. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if they take a guy in the 6th round, he will see that as a threat to his position, as he should. And I bet if that's the case, he turns into an absolute machine next year, back to the best form of him that he can be.
I mean, the last again, and I could be totally wrong here, Nick, but I'm just thinking like the last kicker that I remember that the Eagles drafted. I don't remember the round. I don't remember the round. Could have been day three, but I gotta think or day round three, but it had to be probably day three. But it was Alex Henry out of Nebraska.
Mm.
That was the last kicker that I could think of.
Mm.
That they drafted. And I could be wrong. Maybe they drafted one somewhere else.
Did they draft Cody
Um,
Parkey?
no,
No.
nope,
Okay.
nope.
Yeah,
Um,
and Alex Henry did not work out. It was not
no,
good. Yeah,
no.
we were kind of
And
kickerless for a
I'll
couple of
tell you
years.
what. I'll tell you who they had though. It was that season. It might have been this I can't remember the season, maybe the Super Bowl season, but if you remember, there was a one point where Jake Elliott got hurt. He was having a good year, and Jake Elliott got hurt, and they went to Cameron Dicker the kicker,
Yeah,
and he's now with the Chargers, and he's fantastic. You know, I just it is what it is. But at that time, Jake was, one of the best, and he was hurt, and Howie did a great job. They got Dicker the kicker, who kicked at the University of Texas, so he kicked at a big program, and people saw what he did with the Eagles. And then Elliott was healthy, came back, and Dicker the kicker got
yep.
picked right up. You know what I mean? So, um,
That makes me
I
think about this weekend. So I'm gonna get into my road trip with these boys, uh, a little bit with Brian and Steve on Sunday when we talk. But the one thing that's funny is we went out to Duquesne, right? So we drove across Pennsylvania,
yeah,
went to Duquesne, which is right in the middle of Pittsburgh, um,
yeah,
which is really surprising. Pittsburgh is not a huge city, and there's just this one section, like it would be like a Philadelphia neighborhood, and that
yeah,
one section is Duquesne. And right, like it's
yep,
right next to downtown, right next to
yeah,
like the major hospital. I forget what it's called, but we're there and we're taking a tour yesterday, and the tour guide stops at their football field. It is the smallest D1 football field I have ever imagined. It is
mm,
it looks like a high school practice field as far as size. Now it's beautiful turf and nice stadium seating and stuff, but there's just not a lot of it. Like the
yeah,
the media tower starts on the ground and it's taller than the bleachers.
yeah,
Uh But we were joking, Cullen and the boys and I were joking like, "Geez, if Jake Elliott kicked at this place, we'd go right over into the highway over there." Like there's
yeah,
no way he's keeping it in here. He shanks one, it's gone.
yeah,
It's gone.
yeah.
It's in
Well,
someone's windshield.
And Nick, I gotta be honest with you, man, like, I think back to some of the draft picks they've had, and I'll be honest, like, when they drafted Brian Westbrook out of Villanova, like, I was intrigued with that pick. I mean, I was in college around that time, like, I knew what he was doing at Villanova, um, but for whatever reason, for me, I feel like, well, he came from a small school, and I didn't think it was really I was excited with the pick, but I didn't think he was gonna become the Brian Westbrook that he became, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
No,
Honestly, same thing with Quinyon Mitchell, like, when they drafted Quinyon Mitchell, I wanted Terrion Arnold because Terrion Arnold was the cornerback who went right after him, who went to Alabama, had the pedigree,
mhm.
and here you had Quinyon Mitchell, who went to Toledo, so, um but that's worked out okay,
Yeah,
so but when it comes to the draft, I'm always skeptical of those, like, small school guys.
yeah.
Probably shouldn't. I went to a D2 school, like a small school. I mean, one of my TO, Tennessee Chattanooga, TO went to take maybe I should be a little but those small schools kinda make me skeptical. But man, oh man, there's so many of those guys, who end up going into the Hall of Fame and have productive NFL
I
careers.
I have a similar guy that, not a small school guy, big school guy,
Okay.
and we were down at were we at the Link? Was this I forget which stadium it was. It was the Eagle Stadium, whichever year it was. I can't remember because it was early on in the Link or it was the last days of it. I forget. But we went down to a draft party in the stadium. So they had like kind of your middle level concessions all opened up and you're walking about and then everybody's stopping at the TVs to look at certain picks. And the Eagles took Brandon Graham out of Michigan.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we were like, what? What?
Yes.
Because he's not a giant guy. He's not the fastest guy. Like he was not on anyone's draft board for the Eagles to take that year. Like nobody had us taking Brandon Graham. And then we spent probably 2 full seasons absolutely hating him because they threw him
Yeah.
right to the dogs. They were like,
Oh,
"Nope,
sure, yeah.
you jump in
Yep,
this fire and either dance on it or get burned." And
yep,
he was getting burned for a season
yep.
and a half, right? End of his
What?
second
Yep.
season, he really starts to, like, show up, and then we spend the next 5 seasons going, "Damn it, Brandon Graham, we wanted to hate you. Why do you make us love you?"
He
And
and
he
he's
just
awesome, and
turned
that
into an
and
absolute
right,
HOF.
and that was the draft where everybody thought, because he was on the board,
Mhm.
it was almost a foregone conclusion that the pick was gonna be Earl Thomas, who was a
Yep.
safety
See?
out of Texas, because at that point, I think Brian Dawkins was no even longer with the team.
Yeah.
And so this was kinda like, it would have made perfect sense, and they went Brandon Graham, and to the point I remember at that draft, like, right before the pick was even made, that so-called draft experts were saying, "Oh, this is Earl Thomas going to the Eagles." And
Yeah.
so when they said Brandon Graham, it was like,
We were
"What?"
all
Um,
stunned, and I
but
I forgot about the whole Earl Thomas part of it. I just remember
yes.
being there and just the atmosphere, like, people started leaving
Yeah.
after that first bit. They were like, "We're outta here," 'cause I think they still did 1st and 2nd round on the first
Yep.
night, right?
Yep.
So, like,
Yep.
people were just leaving. They didn't even care anymore. They're like, "Oh, draft's
Yeah.
ruined. Let's go home."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy wins 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah. Yeah.
Earl Thomas only won 1, I think.
Right.
So,
And yeah, and that's another thing, like, for me, like, supposedly there's 3 safeties in this draft that could go round 1. Um, the only thing, and again, like, I would love for them to take a safety because I've said to you, Nick, I'm really worried about the safety room right now, and I'm sure they're aware of it.
yeah.
Having said that, again, I could be totally wrong, but I mean, I've been alive for 44 years, and I could never recall the Eagles drafting a safety in round 1. I
Well,
mean, even Brian Dawkins wasn't a round 1 pick.
no.
Jaquan Jarrett, they took in round 2. Yeah, I can't think of a draft where the Eagles took a safety in round 1.
Yeah.
So
I
I will be surprised if they go safety.
They
I
won't.
don't see
They
it.
won't, and I don't want them to, honestly. So when you mentioned that you were not super excited for the Quinyon Mitchell pick, I was the same, not for the same reason. I didn't I don't like defensive backfield draft picks in the first round. I don't like it.
Right.
I don't like it because there's such a drop off in your ability, your talent level from college to the NFL already.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks and safeties are a whole different thing. Yes, they could be a superstar in the SEC playing against college wide receivers. but now you're up against AJ Brown. Now you're up against Devontae Adams. These are not
Right.
normal people. You like these defensive backs have to be smart, savvy, and they have to be ready to go right away. And they have to be able to adapt. And so I've never been a fan of taking a corner or a safety in the first round. Now, Howie Roseman has done some things in the last couple of years that have certainly worked out. They have
Yeah.
absolutely
Well,
worked out.
y to
But
your point, Nick, to your point, when they drafted Cooper DeJean,
mhm.
when and I'll admit this, when they drafted Cooper DeJean, I'm like, "Oh, here's Sean Considine," right?
No.
Sean Considine went to Iowa, safety.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't gonna work out." And boy, was I wrong because Cooper DeJean is a great ball player,
Yeah.
and Howie Roseman, and they even said after when they drafted him that they couldn't sleep after night 1 because they couldn't believe he was still available.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't believe he was available
I
in
know.
round 2.
So
And, like Go ahead.
I would say if you find a guy that you're super high on in round 2, go ahead. Otherwise, I would let other teams be the guinea pigs. Go out there and draft these defensive back players, and you
Yep.
get to see them. You get to see real life NFL tape of these guys, and then you go do something about it. So
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I love Cooper DeJean. I love Quinyon Mitchell. I'm glad we got them when we got them. I'm glad they're here. I would
Jalen and Nick Jalen Scott was in that draft class too.
what a draft class,
You
man.
want
Howie's been killing
you
it
wanna
lately.
talk about a
So
good draft class.
I'm telling you. Well, here I'm gonna leave you with one last draft pick that I am ashamed that I didn't like.
Okay.
He is currently on the team. He wears the number 6, Devontae Smith. I
Oh, you did?
I did not like this pick at all,
Oh,
and I
okay.
was wrong. I didn't like it
Yeah. I
because I
Go
thought
ahead, go ahead.
I thought he was gonna be an over the middle guy and get creamed and not get back up. I thought he was gonna
Yep.
be hurt day
Yeah.
1, and I was wrong. I'm
The
so
Slim
glad I'm wrong.
the Slim Reaper. The Slim Reaper.
Man. And, like,
Yep.
even the name, I was like, "I don't like guys with nicknames. That nickname's gonna get exploited in the NFL. They're gonna beat him up. You know, big guys beat up little guys." Devontae Smith is such a tough player. I
Yes.
I can't believe I'm so happy that I was wrong about something as I am about that. Just
Yeah.
I was 100% against it. I was you know why? We had had so many bad wide receiver drafts up until that point
Yeah.
that another wide receiver is coming down the pike, and I was like, "God damn it, Howie, like, how many times are you gonna fall for this?" But I
Yeah.
was wrong. Howie was right. Howie is a genius. The last, are we saying last 4 drafts? 5? Absolute genius level drafting?
Yeah, very good drafting. Yeah, I really liked the Devontae pick, because of what he did at Alabama. I wasn't too worried about the size. I mean, I was worried, but I thought he'd be okay. I wasn't too worried about the size, Nick, because I saw what they did with Deshaun Jackson. I'm like, he was small too, and he was pretty darn good. Um, but but we talked. It's funny because I was double checking here. The first round pick, Knicks, as we go, they get all the limelight. Those first round picks on night 1, right? In my memory, the second round, not all second round picks, but the second round picks of the Eagles, Nick, some of their second round picks, on Jackson, Sean McCoy.
Mhm.
I just went back to verify 96 second round, bro. Second round, Brian Dawkins. I mean, so yeah, and again, that's why I don't see a safety because I can't remember that. To my knowledge, they've never taken one since I've actually been watching them.
Yeah.
It's you know,
Yeah.
it,
Well, I mean, I think
and
that
that 96 that 96. No, but I was just saying like the 96 draft class. Jermaine Mayberry was the first round pick. He was good. He was
yeah.
guard.
Yep.
He was good. Jason Dunn, the tight end, then Brian Dawkins in the second round. I looked. I thought they got Trotter in that same draft class, but I guess I was wrong. I thought he was a 96 too, but I must have been. Yeah.
I think he was probably before. Could he have been 95?
Yeah. If let's see. To me, that I always remember look, I'll have to look that one up. And then I'm looking at the 95 draft now. I will say, Nick, when they took this guy in 95, I thought this guy in 95, Nick, thought he was going to be the next Reggie White. I was so excited when they took Mike Mamula out of Boston College. I thought he was gonna be the next Reggie White.
Yeah, you're wrong.
And
Oh,
then in the
Trotter was
second round, they took
1998,
go ahead.
Jeremiah Trotter.
3rd round.
3rd
Yeah.
round.
They've been really good in their 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since Sidney Jones, they've been pretty unstoppable 2nd and 3rd round.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
To me, Nick, here you go. Your first 4 picks in 2002. Lito Shepherd,
Mm,
Michael Lewis, who was actually a safety.
very good
Unfortunately,
safety.
he had the heart condition.
Yeah.
But Lito Shepherd, Michael Lewis out of Colorado, Alden Brown,
Mhm.
Brian Westbrook.
We are Sheldon Brown days away from the draft. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't it the
Okay.
27th, right? Is the draft? When's the draft?
The draft is, I believe it starts on a Thursday. It's the
Oh, no.
23rd, if that's a Thursday.
Yes, it's the 23rd. So we're Brian Dawkins
Yep.
days away.
We are, well, he's 20. If we're 23 days away, we're just 23 days away. I hate to say it, we're Michael Jordan, 23 days away.
Now, Gary, Michael Jordan, we were Malcolm Jenkins days away. Now we're fighting over the days away you're gonna give me Michael Jordan? The basketball? We're
We'll
talking about
find
the
it.
NFL draft.
Let me find my 20. Here's what I will say, Nick. When I sit down for the NFL draft, you sit down for the NFL draft, we both wanna have pizza. Where are you getting your pizza?
Now, you know I'm going to Nino's Pizza, baby. I'm going to Nino's Pizza in, like, an hour because they're having a little, kind of Margaret memorial evening over at Nino's Pizza for just a little, for people that could not or would not go to like, I wasn't going to her funeral. We were not related, and I would have been an absolute
Right.
I would have been a wreck. I would have been
Yeah.
destroyed in front of her
Yeah.
actual family, which would have been totally inappropriate. So,
Right.
no, it's just kind of like a lot of the community really, I mean, the outpouring of stuff on social media and like Facebook and stuff like that, after she passed was just incredible to see, like how many people knew her, loved her. And so they're doing just from 4 to 7, just a little thing for her there. And so we're gonna
Yep.
go do dinner at Nino's. And then, yeah, for the draft night, I'm absolutely ordering Nino's Pizza because I want some pizza. I want a cheesesteak, and they make some fun specialty pizzas and stuff too, where they like almost make like it looks like a cannoli, but it's like a cheesesteak inside. Pretty fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you do the math, Nick. I will say that the draft is April 23rd,
Right.
so that's
Well,
how many days away?
that is Brian Dawkins days away. Brian Dawkins
That
days
is
away
Brian
because it's
Doc
20 days away. Today's the 3rd, it's on the
20 days
23rd.
away.
So here's how I got to that number, right? So I had to take 3 out of 23, right? So it's actually really easy. If I take the 20 and the 3 and the
Yes.
23, I separate them out, right? Now I can
Yep.
subtract 3 from 3, and then I'm left with the 20. So that's how I did that math right there for you. So it's a
Yes,
little
I love
that's a
that.
little yep, little Nick math for you. Get you to where you got to be.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
20
20
days.
where Brian Dawkins, 20 days away,
Yep.
and man, oh man, if they can draft another Brian Dawkins, that'd be
Oh
beautiful.
my goodness, could you imagine? Well, first of all, there's never going to be another Brian Dawkins.
Never.
Never, never.
No,
So,
no.
uh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we have to talk to him about the draft. Let's get some emails out.
We're gonna do our best.
All right.
We're gonna do our best.
All right. Well, let's go. We're gonna go pay a visit to Nino's here on my side. And
Yes.
has your wife decided where you're going to dinner for losing your March Madness bracket?
You know what, Nick? It's funny. She's still thinking about it because she might actually lose. Apparently, as you know in sports, things change overnight.
Oh no.
And now my son is actually in the driver's seat. He's
Oh.
got 3 to 4 teams in the Final Four, so he's in the driver's
Mm.
seat.
Now I know
Yeah.
there's a way to like, what do you calculate points, right, for your brackets? Is that how that goes?
Yep. So we
Okay.
we just basically we do every game, and whoever has the most winners, you get 1 point.
Hmm.
Very cut and dry.
Mhm.
Just he right now he's got the most winners, so we'll see. We're not gonna have an official winner till after the national title game, but he's in the driver's seat for sure.
Well, listen, just I have a recommendation for you, and that would be to put a 20 spot in his hand and let him know how much he likes the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
is it
Yeah. Yeah.
ethical? No.
Yep.
Do we
Yep.
care? Also, no. We
Yeah.
want our Cheesecake Factory. We want
Yeah.
our
And now
chicken
see,
and
I
shrimp
only
jambalaya.
Yep. Yep. And that right there, what you're telling me next, see, I only have one child. You have more than one, correct?
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
See, that's a veteran dad move right there.
Right.
That's a veteran
Yep.
dad move.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
I will give
Yes.
you I'll give you another veteran dad move next week. Remind me about
Okay.
order Mexican food. I'll tell you my next veteran
Okay.
dad move because, the only reason I'll tell you the next one is because someone on the internet already spilled the beans. I think it's an age-old dad trick, but somebody on the internet ruined it. I was furious, so I'll fill you in next week on Nick's dad
And
trick.
and one and one last thing, Nick, whether it's whoever it is, I have an Eagles trivia question that I'm gonna give right now,
Okay.
and I wanna see anybody watching this podcast if they can come up with the answer in the comments, and we'll
Mhm.
see. So we talk about second round picks. Deshaun Jackson was the second round pick of the Eagles in 2007, I believe. I just wanna make sure on that. 2007.
Mhm.
The Eagles had 2 second round picks that year. So I'm just let me just double check here that I got that draft class right. 2007, they had 2 second round picks that year. And you name one was Deshaun Jackson. Can you name the other? And I
Okay.
wanna see if any of our listeners can name that other one.
All right, so I'll put that up in our kind of in our description for today's show. All right, get people to comment
Yeah.
on that, and then I'm going to do a poll. Which Super Bowl was better, 52 or
Yes.
59? And they can also go into the comments and tell us why.
Yeah.
All right, sounds like
Yeah.
a plan.
Yeah. Can you name that other Eagles second round pick?
Yeah,
And I just wanna
without
get the draft
googling it, people don't cheat.
right.
Look at it.
It was 2008. It was 2008.
It's a 2008 draft.
2008 draft. Deshaun Jackson was the second round pick of the Eagles. The other second round pick that they took.
All right.
They took Deshaun Jackson 49th overall, and they took this other player at 47th overall. Who is it?
Okay, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what everybody thinks. All right, Gar, that's it for us.
All right.
All right, we're out. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Go Birds and enjoy that pizza.